understanding who Jesus was, the God-man, and what he came to do to rescue us in a very unique way by giving his life in exchange for ours. He died so we would not have to die. The death I'm talking about here is eternal death, that is taking the punishment that was due us. Jesus didn't die in eternal death, but he took, as the incarnate Son of God, the weight of eternal punishment upon himself, so that we wouldn't have to experience that. This gives us a clue as to why Christians make what turns out to be one of the most offensive claims that Christians make in our culture, or they ought to be making if they're faithful to Jesus, and that is that Jesus is the only way of salvation. Now, this is wildly politically incorrect, and I think that many Christians, as a result, have been tempted to falter at this point, but they ought not, because this is a truth that has been delivered us into our hands for our safekeeping. And it was something that Jesus spoke of time after time after time after time again, either explicitly or implicitly, and all of those who Jesus trained to follow after him, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Paul, all of them that wrote the New Testament, every one of these, where they weighed in on this issue, said the same thing as Jesus. He is the only way of salvation. But why? And the answer is simple if you understand the person and the work of Christ. The simple answer is because he's the only one who solved the problem. He's the only one who could. Only God becoming a man could take the eternal punishment for all of mankind. And only one who is innocent and sinless would be guiltless himself to stand in our place. If he was an ordinary human being that had been fallen, that had sinned, well, then he would be under the judgment of God as well. He'd be in the dock with us. Jesus was the free man who rescued the slaves. The reason Jesus is the only way for salvation is because he is the only one who solved the problem. Nobody else did this. Nobody else could.